Is Idle Thumbs April 6, 2017? That's good.
Well, no,
the date.
it's April.
Oh, right. You're right. It's April.
Jeez.
Sorry. It's,
Jesus.
How
No
can
one
I
knows
forget
what to
the
do
it's?
when Jake's
When
not
not here, I'm like, there's no one to
April
it's. There's no
2017.
itzer.
Yeah.
There's no prime itzer.
Wow.
Didn't
take long for that institutional memory to just completely get
prime,
blown away.
Prime itzer
it's
in
not
the
like there's
situation
305
room.
episodes that started that way.
Nope.
April 6, 2017.
And this is Idle Thumbs 306. I'm Chris Remo.
I'm Nick Breckon.
And I am James Spafford.
Hey, Spaff.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going all right.
Very good. How come we're still making these?
Well, the reason we're making one right now without Jake is that Jake is preparing as we speak.
Patreon postcard.
That's true. What Jake should be doing right now is preparing to be married.
Thinking about the rest of his life.
Yeah, Jake is getting married today in a matter of hours, and we'll all be there. Mm-hmm. But what he's actually doing right now, I believe, is putting the finishing touches on this month's Patreon backer postcards that will be sent out probably in about, I would say, about a week and a half, I'm guessing, because we're going to have to wait till he's back from his honeymoon for him to sign them all. Yeah, they're very cool. I guess I'm just going to start with a plug for the Patreon.
Why not?
But I will say that Jake and Nick are both contributing like an element of continuity to these postcards that I think once people get their second one, they will be pleased by. And that will continue for
ever.
We have, months to go, but well, as long as people keep paying for it.
Yeah, fine, yeah.
They're very cool. If you do want to back our Patreon, you can do that at patreon.com/idlethumbs. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, Idle Thumbs, video game podcast. Mm-hmm. This is, I think, our last weekly episode before we go to a monthly format.
I definitely remember being on when you said that was true, and we had a big old blowout, and we had Danielle was here, kind of.
Yeah,
Steve.
We never technically actually declared what that was the end of or the beginning of or anything.
Yeah,
we sort of just vaguely implied things as we tried to figure out what we were doing, but yeah.
Well, cool. It's nice to be back in here.
Yeah, it's good to have you back.
In this strange orange room. There's nothing quite like being in here. In Jake's dad garage.
Well, it's even nicer looking than last time you were in here. Yeah, because Jake put up this black trim in between
true.
Yeah, we've got those orange curtains now.
Oh man.
It's more orange than ever.
Yeah.
I will say.
Yeah.
I will say the black trim just enhances the orangeness. Sort of frames the orange.
It is true. Although that one tried to kill you last week, so that was
one of those
scary.
fell onto me last week.
Yeah,
that was bad.
like an execution device or something. It just it came down.
It definitely. Nick, you were commenting before we started that this place is just Jake's dad garage.
Oh yeah,
and that was definitely. Like
I love it.
Just the
it's my favorite thing.
The little cherry on top of that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, no, I get it. I'll nail that thing right up there. That thing will be rock solid.
Well,
crunch, clang, slice. Yeah.
The podcast is sort of just like the car that will never be finished.
Right.
But the room, the room is going to be exquisite.
Oh yeah.
And we can assume that will.
He's got his tools in
continuously
the perfect
improve,
hanging, sorted by size and gauge.
Yeah, the little outlines drawn where they belong, where which DualShock controller should hang appropriately on
which
the wall.
Which person should sit where, as indicated by their huge portrait behind their head.
Yeah.
I guess that's not actually how they're hung. Anyway.
Well, Jake sits here so he can look at himself opposite him.
That's Jay Allard.
Oh. But it isn't, is it?
Well, Jake can look at himself twice.
That's true.
Because there's Jay Allard.
Everybody sees a little bit of Jake in Jay Allard.
It's true. And vice versa, I would say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say more vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shall we talk about some video games?
Sure.
Let's do that.
We got an email from Johnny Driggs that seemed like a kind of a nice opener if anyone has anything to say about it. I realize as I'm saying this, I don't know if I do or not. So it's everything relies on you to.
Nice way to just abdicate your responsibility as it pertains to this mail right up front.
Johnny Driggs writes, Dear Thumbs, do any of you have long-standing habits that you carry forward across games? Not simple preferences like always inverting the y-axis or something, but more along the lines of always specking or naming your characters the same or specking characters in a similar pattern. As an example, I always use the third save file whenever a game gives me the option. When I was young, my little brothers would play my Nintendo 64 while I was at school. They couldn't read or even really play, but they liked pressing buttons on the menus. Inevitably, they ended up deleting my save files until I started saving in the third save slot, which I figured would at least take them more button presses to erase. To this day, I've stuck with the habit. Do any of you have anything similar, and what was the impetus for it? Thanks, Johnny Driggs.
Man, that's just very specific.
I know. I think I have something. I think I've talked about it before, though. Naming, like a multiplayer lobby or something, or a character even, Ratso Fatso. And I don't like that started from. I remember the day that began because I was on the phone with my friend and we were playing StarCraft. And this is like before you could just like Skype a person, so I was like on the phone saying like, "Hey, what are you gonna name the lobby? You know, like what are we doing? What's the lobby password?" And he was like, I guess just Ratso Fatso, like Ratso password Fatso. And I was like, well, okay. And then, but then like the next day it was like, well, to make it easy and not have to like call him up, it'll just be the one from yesterday. And so then it was just like, oh yeah, it's just Ratso Fatso forever. And then that just became like a thing. Like if I had a character that I just didn't care what it was named or a save file or just anything. Yeah. Ratso Fatso was the name.
It's funny because I definitely experienced the Ratso Fatso lobby password combination with you before you ever told that story to me.
Like weird. Okay,
yeah, we played Diablo 2 together.
Oh man.
And you would name lobbies Ratso/Fat. You would name like the multiplayer game Ratso/Fatso.
Yeah.
You know, game name password. And I thought it was just you like being kind of I thought that was just your like Nick-centric view of the world because your username on Shack News, which is how we met, was Ratso Fatso Rat.
Which again was an example of just like, I don't give a shit what my username is on this stupid website. I'm never gonna fucking like work for this place. I'll never, you know what I mean? Like just Twitter, this is gonna be gone in like a week. I'll just call myself Ratso Fatso.
Was that your original Twitter name?
Yeah, definitely was. Yeah, I had to change it to Nick Breckon eventually. But like, I was just like, this stupid little startup. No one's using this right now.
It's a good thing no Idle Thumbs readers preempted you on the Nick Breckon before you could when you were Ratso Fatso.
That's true.
Yeah.
They definitely will now on any future services for both of those usernames.
No, I know. It's dangerous. I definitely have had the experience of like signing up for like a bank or something and putting in like username Ratso Fatso, and then somebody has already taken it.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, what is a weirdly specific thing for somebody
It's probably your friend that you'd set all those lobbies up with.
God, it's possible. It's possible. I haven't talked to him in like 15 years. It's entirely possible that in parallel he has been doing the exact same thing. That'd be hilarious.
It's funny that was like just a total throwaway thing that you didn't even originate and that you did to literally avoid having to come up with anything, which is why my username everywhere is just my name. That's the same thing. Like,
well, that's the thing you do now.
Like, I don't have a name that I ever really associated with personally.
Right.
So, but I never would have guessed that for you because you had this like specific avatar of a fat rat with a slice of cheese.
Yeah.
It looked like such a specific vibe that you're like, I am Ratso Fatso
I am the rat man.
And I thought that where did that avatar come? Did you draw that?
That was like a something awful person made that for me.
They made it for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you're playing this off like it was.
No, I was just my stupid.
I am known as the Fatso Ratso. Other members of the community helped craft my identity. Artisanal, hand-drawn.
I mean,
avatar.
It's not like I didn't ask them to. But
exactly, you were such a respected Ratso Fatso rat.
Yeah.
Did you add more syllables to it? Because if it was originally Ratso Fatso, but your name was Ratso Fatso Rat.
Yeah, I don't know when the rat came in. I suspect a character requirement or something eventually.
Or it was already taken.
Yeah.
I always assumed that because of the extra rat on the end, it was some kind of weird like joke that I could just never quite figure out. Like I thought it was a pun. It was like rat, and I'm like, oh, is the joke that Ratso Fatso Rat, it could be like rat, comma, so fat, comma, so rat. Like I was always trying to figure out what the hell. And
that was the intended effect, Chris. I just keep them guessing while you shoot them in the face and quake. Like,
I never asked you because I assumed it was obvious to everyone. Like I assumed it was just a joke or a pun that was self-evident, and if I and I was dumb for not getting
Good.
the
Good.
pun.
I'm really glad that's what happened in your brain. Yeah. It's like one of the, I feel like the mid to late 90s with chat room handles and stuff like that, I feel like that's clearly like a mentality that just doesn't exist. Like you said, like now you just name yourself your name. Like, you know what I mean? But like back then it was like, oh, I need like some kind of clever handle, or something that isn't my name.
Some people still go for that.
Well, yeah, some people do, but I feel like it was much more the case then. Like, the internet, I've got to have like an anonymous handle, like a cool like name.
People still do that. Yeah. Maybe it's just if you've been on the internet long enough, you go, okay, I'm done with this thing that I called myself. This is weird. Why did I call myself this?
I guess probably everybody watching this on Twitch is like, what are you talking about? None of us have our actual name as our Twitch handle.
Exactly.
Yeah, everybody on Twitch is just doing this.
Yeah, it's definitely not universal. Using your name is definitely not universal, and I think for two reasons. One, a lot of people I think are justifiably concerned about privacy, which is totally fair. I, at this point, like, live so much of my internet life sort of publicly that I just don't care. Even places where that aren't connected to my career or like anything I do in terms of public facing stuff, I still just call it my name because I'm like, whatever. I'm just on the internet. What difference does it make? But also the other thing, I think about this a lot. I'm actually really curious what it's going to look like 10, 20 years from now. Is there aren't enough names for everyone to use their real name, right? I mean, there's a lot of people whose names are. There's a lot of people who have the exact same name as other people.
That's why they're called crazy things.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you can't. Everyone can't actually have a Twitter name that's their name. That's impossible.
I was very hyper aware of that when I got an email the other week from somebody, and she said like, "Here's the itinerary for the vacation. Please let me know what you think." And it was this like huge email. Outlining this like very specific, like we're going to Jamaica on the 2nd, we're going to whatever on the 3rd, and then I scroll up to the top, and the person they sent it to was clearly Nick Breckon.
Right.
There's another Nick Breckon, and so then I went and found this person on Facebook, of course.
Yeah.
And it was surreal, because I just never assumed like my name is like fairly specific. Mm-hmm. Like there aren't that many Breckons out there spelled the exact same way.
Too,
like,
but there's a couple.
Yeah, it was really really strange to see that there was somebody else who was like had a public face.
You could go on that trip.
I thought about it. I thought about saying like,
go to Jamaica.
Please send me the tickets.
Your ID
and I'll
would say that. Yeah. It's like that Canadian guy who broke up with his girlfriend and then put out a public call. He was like, he had a non-refundable around the world itinerary booked for like, Christine Stevens, whatever, I don't know, whatever her name was. And he's like, hey, if you're got this name and you want to just like travel around the world, like we can just hang out. Like we're not going to do anything. But like, if you just want to seriously, like I can't get my money back for these tickets. So if you have this exact name, just fucking have a blast. And someone did. And they're just like, awesome. Well, that was just a super fun time. It's like that's the craziest thing.
In this case, they would say, "Where is my husband?" and why are you here? You know what I mean? Like in this case, it'd be very different.
Yeah, you could just gaslight them though. Like, hey, honey.
Yeah,
it's me, Nick Breckon.
This is just the beginning of like the Ratso Fatso Rat. Yeah, this is just the net 2, where like eventually they just become like, what's happening? Someone's stolen my. What are you talking about? It's his identification, ma'am. I can't do anything. He is your husband now. Like, what?
Okay, this is actually what you should do. You should go to the airport or whatever and just try to avoid that person. And just try to get on the plane.
But they're probably sitting next to each other on the plane.
Get on the plane as fast as you can.
Right, hide in the bathroom.
You as fast as you can. You switch seats. Which you ask someone, you're like, I really can't sit in like either window or aisle or whatever. You're like, I really need the other one, and you make sure that you're changing rows, so you're not in the same row.
But then when they have that person sit in that seat, what happens then? Because they're gonna say, wait a minute, my husband is supposed to be sitting here. Also, wait a minute, where is my husband?
Yeah, exactly.
I got on this plane without my husband. Shouldn't even get on the plane. That's the real answer. You would have all that space. I get all the space. Because they wouldn't even get on the plane without each other.
The problem is, I just realized there's yet another problem.
Okay.
There's many problems.
The husband would still be there. So you have to get on the plane first.
I just have to beat them.
You have to beat them.
This is rapidly becoming a Hitman level.
Get to the airport like 6 hours early.
You're right. But I get on the plane.
Yeah.
this is presuming that I have the ticket. I guess she emails me the ticket.
I
have the ID. I have everything. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm sure we're going to be investigated by some fucking agency at this point. But so I get all the way up to the gate, and I say, okay, I'm Nick Breckon. They say, okay, sure, go on.
Yeah.
Right before them.
Right.
Then they get up there, and he's scanning the thing, and it says like, oh, beep beep, beep, beep. You know, like, I'm so sorry. It seems like you've already boarded the plane. You've already boarded the plane,
Mr. Rat.
No, right.
Mr.
What happens
Fatso
then?
Rat.
I guess they just like, oh, this is weird, and then probably somebody comes onto the plane and confronts me.
That's when you've got to be in the bathroom.
The TSA gate agent is going to definitely go on the plane at that point. And say, excuse me, sir, can I see your ID? Nick Breckon. Okay, and now we've got a fucking problem.
Then you just have to be really indignant.
Oh, okay. I see.
I got an email about this trip to me. It said it was for me. Like I won it or something. I have no idea.
Look at the email. Look.
This was sent to me in my name.
Here's what you have to do.
Okay.
Once you have all the flight information and you're Nick Breckon, immediately, like the day of the thing, you have to call the airline and be like, my wife can't make it.
Oh my gosh!
I need you to cancel my wife's ticket. Yes. I'm still gonna go on the thing.
That is
I'm
a powerful piece of fraud. Like
because those flights are overbooked. Someone's gonna scoop up that seat instantly.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And then they just go back and forth with the probably that's a level of like.
You could take it. You could both go.
My name's not Nick Breckon.
No, but you could get his wife's ticket.
You can't change that. That's the thing. That's why the guy had to.
But once it's canceled, you could immediately jump in there.
I guess I could, but then I would just be buying a flight on a plane. Like I would have to pay all that money for a last.
That's true. It's not as good as just stealing.
We'll split that one. If you're party to this, we'll split it. Just
so you can share the.
What does that mean?
The punishment.
Wait, to split your seats on the plane?
No. Just financially. I'm saying if you will help me carry out this.
And then we'll both get a half price.
Yeah.
Tour.
I'm saying this.
I see. Okay. All right. We're doing it.
If you're going to take the risk of being arrested by a federal agent, then I think you should get half of the price of the ticket.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I'm being generous here.
I have a friend called Steven who consistently gets people's emails. People who have the same name as him. Who just don't know their email address.
Oh, yeah.
They apply for jobs.
He
gets like job offers, rejections, like password resets. Like he can control so many people's lives that have the same name as him. And he's constantly just like, what? How do you not know that your email address is not my email address?
This is what I'm talking about with the problem we're going to run into where people use their name and like it's going to be that. Like people are just going to be like, what am I? I'm like John Jones 75. I don't whatever. Fucking John Jones at gmail.com. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And then
we wouldn't got
that original one is gonna get them forever.
We wouldn't have this problem if we had have just stuck with the olden days when you just had like a 19-digit number as your email address.
Yeah,
Then it would have been fine if we all just had a crazy long number.
Guys, I got someone's flight itinerary. Get this. They sent it to 875462873. I showed up at the airport and I'm like, I am 877.
Oh God, a gross future. Yeah.
Yeah, once we're all...
You're just describing robots. I mean, just I am 876.
I am 0110001
-1.
Oh, me too. I am 8765. How funny.
4, 3,
how amusing.
Lift off.
How is this possible?
Yeah. Right. What a coinky dink.
So anyway, please forward me this email. We're going to figure this all out. We're going to go to Bermuda or whatever it was.
Okay,
where were they going?
I don't remember.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Oh, Jamaica, you said, right?
It was like multiple locations over the course of like a month.
Whoa.
Yeah. Clearly this Nick Breckon is living a much better life than me. Although I remember I got an email from the woman like a year ago.
And she was like, hey, I'm playing this crazy thing. You want to You want to get in on this?
Right, yeah. This is a long game.
My husband will never know.
Yeah. No, but it was something completely benign, and
you've got to start collecting details so you can.
No, but I did.
Pass as this guy.
Well, I went on Facebook, and at the time she was just like. They were really into like Dave Matthews Band or something. I don't know. No, it wasn't Dave Matthews. It was some like really stupid, awful band.
Unlike
they were
Dave
just
Matthews
mega
Band.
fans of like, oh no, it's that guy Macklemore. The guy with the hair and everything.
Yeah, Macklemore.
Oh yeah, and she had all these selfies with him, and I was
with
like,
Macklemore?
Yeah, just like 20 different times that she's like met this guy.
You should. And you kind of look like Macklemore. You should like
Thanks, Chris.
Photoshop your face over Macklemore's face.
Maybe
here I am with my wife,
my future
Let
girlfriend.
me on the plane.
Maybe Macklemore's real name is Nick Breckon.
Yeah,
maybe that's what's going on here.
But no, like they were. I was kind of disturbed. I was like, there aren't many pictures of you with Nick Breckon. But you seem to be obsessed with this Macklemore guy, and I felt bad for her for Nick. You know, in this case, I was like, oh come on, like he's fucking Macklemore, like whatever, like. Give this guy more attention. Cut to a year later when I got this itinerary and I looked her up again and she was married to Nick and like no more Macklemore selfies. And I was like, all right, your life's on the right track. Well done.
That's incredible.
You got yourself a Nick Breckon. Things are looking up.
Nick Breckon's one.
Oh yeah.
Macklemore. I don't know.
Put a ring on it.
Like a
higher
million.
Than that.
Yeah.
But definitely I got one.
Yeah, we got.
Score
one for
Nick
us.
Little did we know when Nick Breckon records the Nick Breckon podcast of 4 Nick Breckons, he's actually like he's contacting all the other Nick Breckons of the world.
Yeah, we operate.
I thought that was just clever camera work, but no.
No. He tracks down all the Nick Breckons. They have a convention like once every 6 months or so.
Macklemore performs.
They all go to Jamaica with other people's wives.
Listen to Macklemore.
All right. Well, anyway, so this was a video game podcast. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? That's fine.
Well, do you have any game tendencies, Spaff?
Game tendencies? I don't know. I don't think so. I have weird names that I use, but I mean, I'm just called Spaff because of that very reason. But in real life, already there were too many people called that.
How did you get? Because I've known you for like 15 years, and only as Spaff.
Yeah, in school I had 3 Jameses in my class alone, like 30 people or whatever. Yeah. And so I just became Spaff. Then Spafford at first, and then Spaff, and then it just stuck forever. Basically, I'm stuck with it. Yeah. I tried to rebrand myself.
As James?
As James, when I went to move to Media
Alice
Molecule.
calls you James.
Yeah, some people call me James. People who have either known me for a long time or think Spaff is too stupid a name, which it is, call me James. But when I went to Media Molecule, I was like, I should be James. Everybody here uses their first names as their like public persona. Everything.
Everyone here uses their first.
Do that.
Every like human uses their first. Here at Media Molecule, we refer to each other by our first names. It's just the kind of quirky thing you'd expect from the creators of Little Big Planet.
It felt like part of their thing. So I was like, fine, I'll guess I'll do that. I know it did, but they weren't like I am full name blah blah blah. They were just like, it's Alex and Mike.
No, it's true.
Just call me Alex.
It's not my full name.
My name's Alex, but here at Media Molecule, they call me Alex.
Oh, Alex!
Classic!
Oh, Alex!
Media Molecule, yeah.
God damn you. Listen, I tried. I failed.
Once you join Media Molecule, you adopt what they call your molecule name.
Yes.
Derived when you combine your given name
with nothing else.
And it's just your name, like everyone in the world uses.
But it turns out they already had a James and a Jim, so I couldn't even go down that route.
Jimmy?
Or they
God, imagine if you were a Jimmy.
A Jimmy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I
Knowing
can't
you,
that.
like, just I've known you for a long time. If you were a Jimmy, you could be a Jimmy.
No.
Oh yeah, Jimmy.
I don't think.
Jimmy, are you kidding?
I don't know.
Go down to your local pub and get a pint with your mate Jimmy.
Oh, all right.
See?
That angle.
When you frame it that way.
I don't think so. Jimmy is a tainted name, especially for us Brits.
Oh, why's that?
There's a very renowned 1970s TV host with the name Jimmy who was Jimmy Savile.
Oh, right.
It's definitely a tainted name, so that does not be a Jimmy.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And Jim, he's also Jim. Anyway, I'm just Spaff. I just use that. But then when I go in games and there's already a Spaff, I'm like, fuck you.
What? Really?
You can't use Spaff as your fake fictional fucking name. That's my name.
That's my real name, kind of. That's sort of my actual name.
Yeah, it is at this point, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, it's funny you mention that because actually, like, just by total coincidence, every job I've worked, actually, people call themselves by our first names, and so I go by Chris.
Really? That's very weird.
Yeah,
I've
it's kind of
never
a funny
had that happen
like
to
quirk
me.
of just the places I've happened to work.
I've never had that happen to me in my life.
Trying to think if I have any. I'm trying to think if I have any like game tendencies or quirks. I mean, I don't know. If I'm playing a game with a jump button, I'm always jumping.
That's true.
That's not really like
the same.
Not really the same though. I don't. You know.
I guess they specifically said like not changing the settings, but like there's always a setup
of course,
fucking change things. To.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess one thing that is not. I don't really think this is notable. There are probably a bunch of people like this. But at this point, when I play games on PC, which is like 99% of where I play games, I use the mouse and keyboard even at like great personal effort. Even if I'm playing like... I remember like the first Assassin's Creed game. I think they got better with this over time. But there are games that are clearly developed console first where you can just tell the developer did not give a shit about... mouse and keyboard, but I will still do it even if it's a disaster and the mappings are crazy and like you can't redo them, and I'll still just play it with a mouse and keyboard. Yeah,
I do that too definitely on PC.
Yeah,
to the point where now I'm just terrible at controller games.
I am too. Playing Zelda, I feel like my experience playing Zelda, which is still the main thing I've been playing recently, has in part been just playing a really great game because I think that game is fantastic, but also my like re-education in not being total crap at a twin stick console controller game. I've improved a lot. I haven't thought about that till just now, but I'm realizing now like I'm getting a lot better. When I started it, aiming a bow was a disaster, and I'm getting a lot better at it now.
Yeah, it's really. I always have a lot of like I could never play a first person shooter on a console. I'd just be terrible at it. I hate it.
I was that way until Halo came out. And I just loved Halo so much that it totally gave me those skills.
At least, that's the golden standard of
it is.
The first time somebody went, okay, here's how you do this. And then, I can...
And I can
get
even their tuning is like so much better than pretty much anyone I've ever played. Yeah, they're unusually good.
We played a bunch of old like N64 games on
like GoldenEye or something?
Yeah, like GoldenEye and Turok. And I'm just like running around looking at the ceiling the whole time.
I'm really good at those games.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah, because
terrible.
Because I've played like 100 hours of them, so I just became good
them.
At being you just learn to do things like you just strafe a lot.
Oh yeah.
And you kind of know, you know what I mean? Like you just know how to get by with that.
Yeah.
Like you keep this reticle in the middle as much as possible because that's
the hardest part for me.
Oh yeah.
Like,
so you just basically aim with your whole body. You just slide around until you line it up with the guy.
What do you do with your body?
You just sort of slide around with your body. Fuck you. If that's a GIF tomorrow, I'm going to get so fucking mad.
You're lucky Jake's getting married today, so
I know.
I'll forget to do that. And
That's amazing.
But what do you do with your body, though? I just need to see because I forget.
You slide.
You slide around.
I've been playing Horizon a whole bunch, and I have a similar...
that's on PS4? Is it also on other things?
So I'm forced to be.
Is it on Xbox
that.
also? Sorry.
No. It's a.
I thought it was PS4.
First party PS4.
Right. Okay.
Guerrilla Games makers.
Oh, that's
Killzone.
Guerrilla Games. Killzone 2.
Yeah.
And 1 and 3.
I guess it's their first non-Killzone game that they've made.
Oh, really?
Because they've made, unless they made something before Killzone 1.
I
think they just like
did, but maybe not. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, it's very possible. I don't have that history of them. Which is awesome because it's imagine making just one thing over and over again. It must be
for like
creatively
a decade
strange.
Or more, I think
to be able to branch out must be awesome for them. But they've done a super good job. But one of the things with that is that the controls of it, of course, are PS4, and I haven't played a game of this kind of magnitude and scale on a console that I've also stuck with for this long for quite some time. Like I'll usually opt to be like, ugh, I'm going to play this on PC. Like,
right.
I'll start playing The Witcher or something. Like, this would be so much better if I was playing this on my PC. Do you ever get that kind of same thing?
All the time.
Oh, yeah. In fact, I rarely will actually pick it up on console to begin with. I'll just know, like, oh, is there a PC port?
We're such assholes.
Like a year from now. Yeah.
I'm just terrible at it. But there's no reason not to play it. This game is awesome, though. But I'll talk more about it, but specifically about the controls. One of the things that's really cool at is simultaneously making you feel badass by, like, every time you kind of aim your bow or do a cool thing, there are all these skills you can unlock that make it go into, like, super cool slow motion as you do it, which makes you feel awesome. but also means that I can actually shoot some people in the face. So I just double down on any skill that is anything like that. I'm like, yes, all of the slow motion, please. And then it has the double effect of like, oh yeah, totally was riding my horse, looking backwards and shot some guy right in the eyeballs because I had super awesome slow motion.
Zelda has that actually. Zelda, when you're
I don't
when you're
use
in
it
the
very
air,
often, but yeah.
Oh, I use it all the time for that same
reason. Oh really?
reason.
It churns
it's just so much
stamina.
easier.
I find by the time I've actually aimed, I'm like totally out of stamina, and then I plummet to my death all the time.
I got like 2.5 wheels of stamina.
Yeah, I need to get more stamina.
now.
I've only upgraded it twice. Yeah.
Do you have to use stamina to aim the bow?
But you use stamina when you're gliding through the air, and so when you're gliding through the air, you can if you bring out your bow, you go into this like slow-mo bow aiming mode. So like as you're falling, you're like aiming your bow, and it's really cool. But the whole time you're doing it, you're still eating your stamina from being in the air. And I should try it again now, but I'm just not good enough to, with the controller, aim quickly enough to not churn through all my stamina when I do that. Yeah. God, that game is so good though. It's so good.
You know, I'm gonna say one quick thing about Zelda, and then
please do.
If you have more to say about Horizon
sure, man,
stuff,
I can tell you about it.
But it's interesting getting to the sort of end stage of that game.
Oh yeah.
I'm in a weird mental space with it. I almost feel bad saying what I'm going to say here because it changed the way I think about the game, and I think I need to basically erase, like Men in Black, just erase this knowledge. But Janelle...
Wait, but you're going to spoil it for everyone now?
No, it's not a spoiler at all.
You're going to make everyone have to do their Men in Black erasure?
No, it's not a spoiler. It's not an actual spoiler. It's just a weird...
But you're sad that you know it.
Well, yeah. So boop, 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 boop. All right, fine. I won't say what I was going to say.
Well, I just mean if you were like...
Well, I know, but I like spreading sadness, Chris. It is an interesting thing about the game. I feel like people... Oh, that's fine. I'll wait a month. I'll wait a month.
All right.
It's going to be one of those flashback episodes in 100 episodes' time when you realize you never said that thing about Fallout and you needed to say it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I apologize. I'm wary based on your disclaimer.
So how's Horizon Zero Dawn, Spaff? How are you finding it?
It's super good.
That's like an action adventure game, right?
It is. It's like a third person, kind of open world, not really open world, but kind of enough open world for me that I'm happy.
Sure.
It is one of those post-apocalyptic games.
Yeah.
You know those things?
I mean, I guess.
It's another kind of, I guess it's actually more distant future than most tend to go, where Earth is very tribal and there's no, at least the tribe that you start in kind of shuns technology completely and uses kind of pieces of metal, but only sparingly for like weapons or armor and stuff, but doesn't use any of the electronics. But it's also a world in which AI, like robot machine dinosaurs, are the main. Just like all the animals are these crazy.
So I mean, it's our terrible robot future, far future.
Yeah,
everything's
exactly.
been ruined now. We ruined it all.
Everything that we always worry about and talk about, it's basically the big dog future for absolutely sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really fun to play. I just really like being in that world. They've done such a good job of making a beautiful world, and just being in it and playing it. The enemies, these the crazy fucking robot enemy things, are super fun to hunt. I remember seeing this game when it was just a prototype.
Oh, crazy! When you were at Sony?
Yeah, because I worked at Media Molecule and I visited Guerrilla at some point before they'd shipped the previous Killzone.
Oh, wow.
And so they've been working on this for quite some time, but already at that point it was like, oh, you hunt robot dinosaurs and scavenge them for pieces and like build that into more crazy weapons and fight these huge, Jurassic Park scale dinosaur things. Yep, that's going to be the best, and it is the best. Nice. You have a selection of really, like, you're mainly hunting with your bow. It's very Zelda, which is awesome. Like, Alice is playing Zelda at the same time as me, and she's sitting like next to me on her little Wii U playing Zelda, and sometimes putting up on the TV, and I've been playing this, and the parallels are, for these two games to drop at the same time is kind of crazy. There's a lot of similarities. But yeah, you hunt with your bow, and you also have a spear, and then you kind of slowly accumulate even more kind of very different weapons, I think, that I've had in many other games. That you have these cool rope spears that you can kind of spear into a guy and then spear into the ground and like trap it to the ground and then run up and stab it right in the heart.
Like Gary's Mod or something?
Rip its lens out or whatever. Yeah, Gary's Mod style. Yeah, it is kind of like that. You're like building fences to trip them over and stuff.
That's cool.
And yeah, you're in this, this big open world that it's not as fully open. It's not like Zelda, I think. And watching Alice play that,
very open. Zelda's
exactly.
Open,
and like in Zelda, like if you see a thing, you can go to there, you can climb up it, and it doesn't quite have that. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you're like, God, I really want to go up this cliff and I can't.
Right.
But that's fine. Like it makes up for the the kind of moment-to-moment action of it is really fun to play. As I say, like all the cool super slow motion stuff, like you can leap in the air and go into slow-mo and slide also in slow-mo and like bow some guy right in the stomach as it leaps over you.
What do you do, Spaff? What do you
You bow a guy in the stomach. I think this was your move, right? But I super recommend it. It's cool. Really fucking good.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm even halfway into that game, but I intend to keep playing it, which I know I've been playing so many small, like little games or just tasters of bigger games, not really settling on anything. It seems for ages.
Yeah.
And then ended up just playing WoW for ages, which is just, it's great, but also it's not.
Sure, it's like a known.
You're never going to get anything else done. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's nice to break that with something that I guess I've just been waiting for something good and meaty to get into.
Totally.
So that's good. You should play it, you guys.
Cool.
You don't have PS4.
I don't have a PS4, but Nick does.
I do.
Yeah, Nick does.
You do.
I can play that game.
You should borrow my PS4 and
sure.
sometime.
Cool.
You can be the console borrower.
That's what I am. That's what I am. I'm borrowing that Wii U for Zelda,
Yeah.
Yep. Should we take a break?
I think we should.
Let's do it. This episode of Idle Thumbs is brought to you by ProFlowers. ProFlowers will send beautiful flower arrangements to any address you specify for your partner, your parent, your friend. Send a friend a flower. So we actually all got these recently. Nick, right? You got some.
I did.
I got a bouquet at my house. They are guaranteed to last a week.
They lasted a little longer than a week, I believe.
They're very nice. They come with little packets of flower food that you refresh like 3 days. You put it in there, you refresh it 3 days later. They have instructions for like you cut the flowers and you replace the water. And they tell you if you're like a total idiot when it comes to flowers,
how to be pro at that.
How to be professional, how to treat your how to treat your flowers, how to treat your flowers with the professionalism they deserve. The website's easy to use. You can schedule your delivery for like whatever specific day you choose. Whatever day will result in the most delight and surprise for your friend or loved one. And if you go to proflowers.com and enter the code THUMBS at checkout, you will get $10 off any ProFlowers purchase of $29 or more.
We should send some to Jake.
We should have sent ProFlowers to Jake.
If only we'd thought.
If only we'd thought about this. Man, what idiots! Don't make the same mistake we did.
You could have him waiting for him when he gets in.
Oh, that's true. That's true. We could schedule him for right when he gets back from his honeymoon.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Nice. Good idea. All right. If you go to proflowers.com, check out, use that promo code THUMBS, get $10 off your order of $29 or more. Get your professional flowers.
Don't get amateur flowers.
No, fuck that. This episode of Idle Thumbs is also brought to you by Indochino, made to measure men's suits, formal and casual wear. If you go to Indochino.com and use the promo code IDLE, you can get any premium suit for just $389 with free shipping as well. Jake and I got fitted for nice dress shirts from Indochino a while back. Made it to my measurements and tailored it, and it was great. I liked it so much that a couple weeks ago, I just went on my own to the local Indochino showroom and got fitted for the whole full, two-piece suit. And it was very satisfying to use that code and watch just like hundreds and hundreds of dollars disappear from the cart. Yeah, that is the promo code IDLE at Indochino.com. The way this works is you go to their website, Indochino.com. They give you instructions for how to measure all of your sort of just suit, all the arm length and chest and neck and everything. And you put it in their website. Or if you live in a city with an Indochino showroom, go to Indochino.com and look at their list of showrooms. You can go in there and they will do all that measurement for you. And then you pick the fabric. Because they're making it for you, you pick the fabric, you pick all the sort of style, like what kind of color you want, how you want your pockets to be. You can get it monogrammed. And I just enjoyed it so much I went and got fitted for a sort of dark flecked teal suit. But I am like kind of stupidly excited about my Indochino suit coming up. Sarah and I are going to Paris on vacation at the end of the month, and I'm gonna definitely bring that.
You're just
thing
gonna
with
wear
me
it the whole time.
Yeah. Oh,
You're
yeah.
Be suit guy.
Oh, definitely.
Very
it's
cool.
gonna be disgusting. I'm very excited. So if you go to Indochino.com, use that code IDLE at checkout, and you can get any premium suit made for you, $389 with free shipping.
Oh, we're back.
All right, we're back. Spaff saw some kind of GIF.
I did. I saw a GIF of a.
Interesting.
I
love cool GIFs.
Which was it was
Sorry,
the beginning
a hacked ROM?
Yeah, I guess so. And I know it said this was real, but I did not verify this. So
I know
this
what
is
you're
how
talking
good
about.
my thing is.
Really?
Yeah, it was a Sonic the Hedgehog 1 level, except
that what
it
you
was
thought?
Yoshi with Sonic riding Yoshi on the back of
It's
him.
real.
And then you
Whoa.
play Sonic the Hedgehog as Yoshi, and he can like eat the TVs
What?
and stuff. And yeah, it looks crazy.
What?
Yeah, it's real.
Have
It's totally
you played
real.
it? Can you get it?
I haven't played it, but I know it's real.
want to.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I
Yeah.
want to know how. Like, can you play the whole game? Like that?
I don't know about
guess if
that.
you built the functionality into it, then as long as you could make your way through the game enough.
Yeah. Crazy. Wow. So they just recreated that sprite like pixel for pixel?
But it looks kind of like a Sonic version of Yoshi with Sonic on the back instead of Mario, which is good. He looks so weird.
People are saying it was video, not a GIF.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah,
I saw a GIF. Actually, it probably was a video.
Yeah,
it's hard to tell sometimes on Twitter because stuff just plays in a timeline.
Yeah. It's they're blurring that line.
Sorry,
for sure.
I messed it up. I guess
Man,
you
that's
could go look
crazy.
for
Trying to
that.
find details on this. It's a little
Yeah.
but
I found some. So from the AV Club, you can download the game and play it yourself, assuming you have a Genesis emulator, obviously.
Who doesn't, please?
It says, it turns out Yoshi in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, as the title screen calls the game, was created back in 2010 by a ROM hacker known as Xenowhirl, whose other work includes Sonic 1 Bouncy Edition, which is just Sonic the Hedgehog, but Sonic is always bouncing. Twitter user Amphobius points out the hack, which is labeled within the game as unfinished, was likely a leaked copy of a work that was in progress and created for the 2010 Sonic the Hedgehog hacking contest. It wasn't made publicly available at the time, and its recent release comes seemingly at random. So this was someone's leaked hack, leaking hacks.
I want to play it. I'm happy to know that there's some kind of Sonic the Hedgehog hacking tournament thing with like tons of different bouncy Sonic and whatever else Sonic.
One player claims it's impossible to get past the 4th level boss, which seems plausible given the hack's unfinished status.
Seems like a challenge.
AV Club indicates, full disclosure, we couldn't verify this because we got to Chemical Plant Zone Act 2, were reminded of how infuriating that level is, and turned it off because
noobs
before we could do anything. That's crazy. What a crazy thing. Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like messing with Sonic.
People do.
People
love messing with Sonic, if you know what I mean.
Stop messing with me.
I don't know if you've ever been to deviantart.com, but messing with Sonic is
I don't
definitely
want to think about that.
something the internet loves way too much.
Yeah. I remember one time at work, somebody accidentally found, this was when I was a games tester a long time ago, somebody found themselves down a like Sonic fan art rabbit hole of hell in which people had... all I can remember is that one of the pieces was entitled Sonic and Knuckles. Oh, here's a lovely picture I drew of Sonic and Knuckles as gay human boyfriends. And it was them as just
very
anime
literal,
people.
just straight
with
up literal. This is like going to tell you exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah. And then the very next one was like, and here's a beautiful picture I drew of Tails giving Robotnik a hand job. Like, what?
God.
Well, I mean,
the in-world art gallery of that is, yeah.
What is it? I don't. Okay, this is a dumb question. I don't know if there's an answer to this, but what is it about Sonic in particular that has caused it to become invested with so many
He's
different...
like a furry? Is it because of that?
Yeah, but there's so many characters that are animals. Like, there's so many characters that are anthropomorphized animals, right? Maybe Sonic isn't uniquely this, but it feels like Sonic is like really...
Well, I think what you're saying is why Sonic and not Mario, and I think Spaff's correct. I think it's the animal angle.
Yeah, I guess so.
Tails is a fox.
I guess that's true.
Sonic's a hedgehog. They like that.
And I guess Sonic has...
Although I guarantee you, I say not Mario. let's why am I? Why am I?
No, don't get me wrong. I know that
Tanuki suit Mario.
No, I know that on the internet it's everything. I know that. But Sonic seems, given that baseline of everything turns into everything on the internet, given that baseline, Sonic seems like it's head and shoulders above other...
I am right now incredibly aware of the fact that we do not have any Twitch moderators. And I am not seeing what is happening in chat right now, and I'm a little nervous.
I'm sure it's fine.
You say not Mario. Have I ever told you about the self-inflating Yoshi thing?
No, I don't think so.
My friend Ken, he was kind of part of the, I think it was Something Awful kind of community, and also was super into... not furries, but I think the lizard version of that, which I can't remember what it is. But anyway, he's also a cartoonist.
Scalies.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that true?
I don't know. I'm making it up.
True.
But it is true. Okay, there you go.
And he would, he's pretty good at drawing, and he got into this kind of not particularly lucrative, but enough for him to make a bit of money of people asking him to draw specific things.
Sure, commissions, yeah.
But a lot of them were kind of weird, related to like slightly sexual things, but also kind of not really, just people's sexual fantasies that you're like, that's your fantasy, I guess. If that's your fantasy, then you need this guy to draw you something.
Sure, yeah.
One of the things he had to draw was a series of 20 drawings so that it could be flipbook animated of Yoshi inflating himself up like a balloon and then deflating again.
Huh. I mean, that seems pretty tame as far as...
Right?
Maybe they just think it's really adorable.
I guess so. What have you been drawing this week, Ken? Oh, just Yoshi inflating himself.
Does he is it like in a cartoon? Does he plug his nose and then...
Yeah, I think it was,
it's like what,
put your
it's like
thumb
what
in your
Bugs
mouth.
Bunny or someone does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's where that comes from.
Maybe so.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I guess we can do some more reader mail.
Yep.
Here's the email for you, Nick. Exponent writes, Dear Breckon, I don't understand your position on lore. I asked you on a Dark Souls 1 stream a while back, but all you said was, here's the thing, and then immediately got distracted, which was amusing, but not very illuminating.
Couldn't have been a coincidence that I became distracted in the moment when somebody asked me to explain a position on something that is controversial.
You seem to make a point of scornfully skipping all dialogue menus and tutorial messages, even though many don't fit under the normal definition of lore, and even when they explain things that would be useful to you. And yet, in your Planet Coaster streams, you spent hours putting lore into a roller coaster ride. There are a few related perspectives to understand, but they don't seem to fit the facts in a consistent way. I don't mean this in an accusatory way. I'm just curious. If you disliked all story elements, it would be strange. But if it were that, then you'd hate walking simulators or story-driven games, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I would expect you to like the Dark Souls style, as it's the most unintrusive approach I'm aware of, but even that seems to be too much. To borrow an example, someone else wrote in with, it's like skipping all the dialogue in the book, and for emphasis, they said it was like that or something like that, not like only reading the first few chapters. If that's what you enjoy, that's fine, but it's definitely a skewed perspective of the experience. Others on the podcast said the main issue is having enough time and that other parts of the game are more enjoyable, which is understandable, but it doesn't seem to be the issue, because if that were true, then you wouldn't seemingly resent the fact that the lore exists. It could be that you just don't like the style of Dark Souls or Zelda storytelling. Is there another series you do like the storytelling style of? Do you dislike non-action? Do you similarly dislike non-action scenes in action movies? Would you rather GLaDOS have shut up and let you get to work on the puzzles? Again, I really don't mean this in an accusatory way. Exponent. TLDR, why lore bad?
Oh, man. You were right. You were absolutely right about this. You knew that I wasn't going to like it, and I don't like it. I don't
understand why you this grates on you so much, though.
Because I know that anything I say...
But I don't care. I just want to know what you
I know you don't care, Chris.
But it doesn't matter. Who cares?
I know. It's fine.
Just say what you actually think.
Are we specifically talking about the things you pick up and read? Or is it like also anything anybody says to
dialogue
you?
or
any dialogue
anything,
at all of any kind? Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to understand that.
So, I think my actual thought on this is, I love the Dark Souls games.
Yeah,
I have to get that out in front.
That's fine. I mean, you've
played
a lot of them.
It's true.
So.
I definitely at this point appreciate why people really get into the story of those games, and I do appreciate the way that they're told. Like as he said, I understand why it would be confusing that I wouldn't like that stuff, because it is a story that's being told in I think a pretty like restrained and in an interesting way.
Yeah.
This might seem really petty, which is why I'm nervous to say it, but it's like, I wouldn't probably pick up a book if the cover looked like Dark Souls.
Right. No, that's totally
think
fair.
That's
I mean,
literally
I know kind of
all
how you
that
feel.
it is.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate the way they're constructed and the way that the story is woven into them.
Yeah.
But it's just literally not like there's no character or like even like really theme in that game that I would read a novel about. It's just not something that grabs me in that way. Now, like Portal, I really appreciate the way the story is told in those games, but even at that, I probably wouldn't pick up a Portal book or something. And I think, but at the very least, like, the sort of moment to moment in a Portal game is just entertaining line with kind of a background subtext for this stuff. Whereas I think in Dark Souls, I know people like really get into the characters in that game.
But you do have to dive into it to get a lot out of it.
You got to really dive into it. And, it's funny. I started up Dark Souls 3 the other day.
Yeah.
Because I sort of want to not blow through it again, but I just have it in the background as something I'll pick up occasionally every couple of days. And I do find myself being a little more interested in what the characters are saying, and having gone through the game, kind of knowing like, oh, this guy's this boss. It is kind of now, or whatever. Like this guy, I know what's going to happen to this guy. I give it a little more space, and it does kind of trigger a thought now and then that I have. That is not just like, God, why can't I just get to the part that I want to play? But basically, it all goes back to what I said originally.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm glad you actually just said that, because I think that's totally like, I mean, from my perspective, that's totally reasonable, because that's largely how I feel, right? Like, I'm playing Zelda right now, and I really love the way they've depicted the world in general, and I really like a lot of how a lot of the characters are written. Like, a lot of the characters just have like really funny, clever, little quirky lines that they'll sort of throw out at you that I like, but also still, like, ultimately, at the end of the day, there's still like twice as much stuff as I think there actually needs to be, given how much substance there actually is to that story, which is fairly little. And that's not really the same as Dark Souls. Like, Dark Souls stories have more substance in them, but still, like, I don't personally really care about like ancient champions and like a thing like this, like rising ancient evil and all this stuff like that just as a story is not very interesting to me, especially because if you've been playing video games a long time, you've literally seen it infinitely. I really appreciate that the Zelda team kept that stuff quite lightweight, all things considered, but still, like, when I have a flashback moment and there's like a 2-minute long cutscene of people sort of just like being fantasy people talking about just like whatever, like, it's not. Sometimes there will be like an interesting line in there, but like most of the time, as you say, it's like, you know what, I probably wouldn't spend my time just like reading this book, so I don't necessarily care about it right in this context either, even though I love the surrounding like world and like world building and sort of just dynamics that connect the world to the gameplay and all that stuff. I do like all that stuff a lot. I think it's great.
I mean, this is a big topic with games, because you can get into things like, one, I don't play a Zelda game for the story. I play it for all these other things, which are basically like hours and hours of stuff. Yeah. So when there's something in there that's even just a little bit less of what I want right now for the reason that I'm actually playing this thing, then it's just sort of getting in the way of the actual reason that I'm consuming this thing. I feel the same way about Dark Souls. Like, I don't play those games for the story, and even if I put in a lot of work to appreciate the story, it's ultimately not why I'm there, and so I don't feel like it's actually worthwhile for me specifically to like put in that time. It would be like if you were, I don't know, like reading a book or something, and then there was just like a puzzle game in the middle of it, like I'm not here for that. I'm here for this other stuff. And if I skip the puzzle, then I don't, people probably would say, oh, that's fine, I don't know. It's hard to draw an analogy to anything else.
There isn't a good analogy,
but you know what I'm saying.
It's fair enough.
Like it's a completely sort of separate axis that it's very rare that a game is actually like weaves that stuff in a way where it feels necessary and kind of part of the primary experience. I mean, like with story games, again, like that's the reason you're there for that stuff, and so that is why my brain is just like, oh yeah, I'm here for this, and this is what I'm doing now, and this makes sense, and I'm totally into this, and but yeah, and honestly though, like even actually, you know what the analogy is? It's like I'm playing Grim Fandango and I get stuck on a stupid puzzle and I just want to go talk to a guy and not have to worry about this. You know what I mean?
Or even worse, when you're playing Full Throttle or even Grim Fandango, and then there's a reflex-based puzzle or an action thing, and you're like, wow, this sucks compared to
that is the flip side of this equation for me. And that's just the way I think about it, I guess.
Yeah. I think that's totally fair. Let's see. Do we have anything else? Is there anything else anyone wants to cram into this ostensible video game podcast here? Oh, here's a cool thing. This is a sort of a heads up. I don't think we're going to be able to have a discussion about it, but I think it's cool to like put out there in the world. James Roberts says, "Hi, Thumbs. After listening to your latest podcast and of Nick's time with Trespasser, I was reminded of a Let's Play of Trespasser done approximately 10 years ago. This was," he says, "in 2007, a Something Awful forum user by the name of Research Indicates created the Trespasser Let's Play, an 18-video dissection of Trespasser made with so much polish and background research that it may be the best Let's Play ever made.
Wow.
If that wasn't enough of a recommendation, R.I.'s voice exhibits the smoothest southern drawl you've ever heard. In combination, I heartily recommend Thumbs and its listeners watch the series. All the best and congrats on your continued podcast expansion. James from Cheltenham, UK."
Yeah, I had somebody mention that while I was playing it originally, and I haven't seen it, but that's cool.
The name of the YouTube playlist is Jurassic Park Trespasser Let's Play by Research Indicates, and that's just cool. It's cool that someone put in that much effort and like research and time. This is actually really interesting. I'm looking at the playlist now, and it starts with, there's a 4-minute video about the history of Jurassic Park Trespasser, then a 1-minute intro video, and then it goes into, just the actual episodes of the Let's Play, which range from basically 15 minutes to half an hour, which is that's like pretty nice, good, consumable chunk. And what's interesting is each one has a minute-long recap video that's separate. So this person put a lot of time and editing and effort into this. And then there's a 2-minute recap at the very end. That's really cool.
2007 seems really early for something to even be called a Let's Play.
This person, I didn't read this part of the email, but this person sort of explains what a Let's Play is, which I didn't think was necessary. But he calls it an early 2000s gaming forum predecessor to Twitch channels. And I think this probably was fairly early in the...
I mean, that's like YouTube barely existed in 2007.
YouTube, I think, was 2004.
Oh, I thought it was 2006 YouTube.
Oh, really? Was it 2006 maybe?
So, but even then, it's still like a...
Yeah.
Like when we were doing Thumbs as a website, there was no YouTube.
That's true. I guess you're right. Yeah, that was 2004 when we started out of Thumbs.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious. When did YouTube come out? History of YouTube. That's a Wikipedia page.
I think there was a video of that.
2005.
Okay, split the difference.
The internet the internet domain name YouTube.com was activated February 14th, 2005. It's weird to think of YouTube as something that is like a website people started, because now it's such like a fundamental backbone of the internet.
It's like TV. It's like a whole section of entertainment. Yeah.
Video upload started April 23rd.
Yeah, that's around the time the world changed. iPhones were invented. YouTube was invented.
Yeah, iPhones were 2006 maybe. Yeah, like a couple years there, and like all this stuff got
Facebook was invented.
Seeded.
Twitter was invented.
Yeah,
all around that time.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, and then they were bought by Google in 2006.
There you go. That's maybe what I'm remembering. That's crazy. So Let's Play. I didn't think it went back that far, that term.
Oh, then 2006 is when Time Magazine had Person of the Year as a YouTube screen with a mirror in it. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're really good at choosing.
It's where the
those.
modern world was born, you guys. It's where the modern internet world was born.
10 years ago.
In the reflection
Only took 10 years for it to die.
Only took 10 years for it to be completely weaponized into a source of just utter social ruination.
What a shitty 10-year-old. What a fucking asshole. A bunch of a trolley fucking dick.
Wow. Well, on that's our podcast. That's Idle Thumbs. We'll be back in a few weeks with another episode of Idle Thumbs. In the meantime, you should check out our new weekly podcast, Important If True, which by the time you hear this will have 7 or 8 episodes out, I believe. And also, I mean, that's sort of a normal hour-long podcast in the vein of this one. But also, if you have, like 15 minutes a week, you should absolutely, definitely listen to our other newest podcast, Something True, a similar name, but a very different podcast, written by Duncan Fife, another longtime Idle Thumbs sort of compatriot, and read by Alex Ashby, one of the original Idle Thumbs co-founders. And this is a podcast of weird stories from history, actual true stories from the footnotes of history. It is true and funny and well-written and just really a very beautifully produced little 15-minute kind of gem each week. And you can find that at somethingtrue.net, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I recommend it as a bedtime story.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, because it's really short. You can just settle in to slumber with the very soothing tones of Alex Ashby.
Very soothing.
Yeah, that man has a mellifluous voice.
Yeah, and very cheerful as well.
Yeah, it is. It is a very upbeat, fun podcast. It's great. I can't say enough good things about it. That's somethingtrue.com. And then if you want to hear us, me and Jake and Nick every week talk about garbage, you can listen to, you have that option.
In whatever tone this is.
Yeah, at importantiftrue.com. You can send us email for this podcast, Idle Thumbs, at questions@idlethumbs.net, and we'll be back in a few weeks with another episode of this show. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
All right. Catch you later.